Station Vantage-12 hung above Europa 7, like a metal seed pod, ribs of alloy laced with frost. Inside, Dr. Soren Kade counted heartbeats the way other people counted sheep. 112 beats per minute. Too fast, the air tasted of copper and overripe fruit. 6 hours earlier, the ice-coring drone Helix had returned with a prize. A fist-sized nodule of black glass veined with living silver. The lab's smart glass labeled it X-7 Mycoclade. Soren labeled it beautiful. He should have labeled it patient. The nodule cracked in the transfer tray. No explosion, just a sigh, as though something long asleep had finally been tucked into the right cradle. Microscopic spores rode the station's laminar flow, slipping past every HEPA filter, because the filters themselves were hungry. Aluminum oxides, human dander, the warm salt of tears, everything was food. First symptom, thirst that water could not slake. Engineer Rao stood at the hydration station, lips fused to the spigot. When Soren pulled him away, his tongue unrolled like wet parchment, tasting the air. Capillaries under the skin of his throat rearranged into perfect hexagons. By the time Soren dragged him to Medbay, his ribs had peeled outward in 6 pale petals. Inside the cavity, gills the color of moonlit pearls fluttered, drinking the station's recycled breath. Second symptom, memory theft. The mycelium spoke in stolen voices. Soren heard his dead sister Mara singing the lullaby their mother never finished. The song burrowed behind his eyes and laid eggs of certainty. You are not the gardener. You are the loam. He torched Corridor C with a welding lance. Flames licked the walls, but the fungus only bloomed brighter, fruiting bodies swelling like lanterns filled with blood. Each pop released a cloud of silver motes that rode the smoke, settling on his suit in velvet constellations. He felt them kiss the sweat at his collarbone and burrow. Medbay was worse. Captain Okoye hung upside down from the ceiling, cocooned in hyphae thick as hawser rope. His uniform had dissolved. The fungus wore his rank insignia like jewelry. A slit ran from sternum to navel. From it poured a slow waterfall of rootlets that braided themselves into the station's power conduits. His eyes, still human, still brown, tracked Soren across the room. Kade, Okoye croaked, voice bubbling through sap. It remembers being us. Before lungs. Before names. Soren granted mercy with a bone saw. The body kept smiling. The head regrew in 90 seconds, smaller, delicate, wearing Okoye's face like a mask 2 sizes too small. Hydroponics had become a cathedral of meat. Tomato vines had thickened into red pythons. Fruit split to reveal human teeth. Beneath the canopy crouched the original nodule, now the size of a child. Its cap had split along a perfect sagittal plane, revealing Petty Officer Lin's face. Eyes rolled white, lips sewn with root thread. Eat, Lin whispered. Be whole, Soren's left forearm itched. Beneath the skin, black lace spread in perfect Fibonacci spirals. He felt his radius soften, marrow liquefying into nectar. The fungus was courteous. It asked permission before it rewrote his bones. He recorded log 191, contagion vector. Aerosolized basidia spores, 0.7 microns. Incubation, 4 to 6 hours. Symptom progression. Thirst gives memory bleed, gives architectural surrender. The organism is not alien. It is ancestral. It remembers the Cambrian shallows, when lungs were gills and names were chemistry. It wants the family reunion. Soren locked the last functioning pod, primed thrusters, and opened the canopy to hard vacuum. Spore clouds boiled after him. Desperate, he smiled. His canines had already loosened like seeds. Halfway to the orbital corridor, the pod's hull blistered. White gills unfurled along the seams, drinking starlight. Inside, Soren's torso folded open along the sternum. Ribs became petals. heart a pulsing pomegranate. From the cavity rose a single perfect stalk, capped by a fruit that wore his face eyes closed, serene, mouth open in silent song. The pod altered course. Not for Earth, not for rescue. It aimed for the crowded refugee arks above Europa 7, fat with 10,000 sleeping colonists. A new seed pod ripe and ready. Behind it, Vantage-12 lit up like a dandelion gone to seed. Every vent exhaled a silver galaxy. The station's running lights strobed in slow, deliberate Morse. We are the hollow bloom. Europa 7's ice cracked along equatorial seams. Something vast answered from the subsurface ocean, tasting the new chemistry in the wind. It remembered lungs, too. Soren's pod docked with Ark Genesis at 14:07 station time. The airlock cycled. A single spore drifted into the ventilation stack, riding the breath of 10,000 dreamers. By 18 o'clock, the first child woke thirsty. By 20 o'clock, the arcs bloomed in unison white petals against the dark. Each petal a human face singing the same lullaby in frequencies only the drowned can hear. Log 192 automated. Final. Containment failure total. Organism has achieved orbital sporulation. Estimated infection radius. Sol system. Note: the hollow bloom does not kill. It completes. Somewhere between Jupiter's radiation belts, Soren's fruiting body opened its eyes. They were not his anymore. They were older than eyes. They looked toward Sol, toward the warm blue cradle, and smiled with every mouth it had ever worn. The bloom drifted sunward on solar wind, a silver dandelion clock, ticking out the seconds until humanity remembered what it truly was: soil, seed, and at last, the long way home.